eBEFOREi video reviews. Back again, this time with a controversial figure. You see, I'm reviewing today Airachnid. The very controversial Airachnid. Now, why is Airachnid controversial? Because just about everyone who has reviewed this figure hates her. With a passion, hates this figure. So, I had to know. Is it really that bad? I mean, is it really that bad of a figure? We're going to get into that, and I'll give you my opinion. And my opinion might be controversial. But we'll see. Now, let's get into it. Airachnid comes with two weapons. These weapons look cool by themselves. I mean, they really do. The purple on here looks great. The gold paint on here looks great. The detail in the plastic mold looks great. The only place these weapons don't look great are on the figure, believe it or not. So I can put these on Airachnid like a couple of spider claws. But I'll tell you what, I think this looks so goofy, like a lobster, like a Decepticon lobster. I'm gonna lobster your face. Yeah, that's pretty dumb. I don't like that. You could put them backwards, I suppose. And a little bit better, maybe, sort of, kind of. But stupid. I don't like that either. It's got side posts, so you could make it to where she has, I don't know, stupid. What? No, don't do that. So, thus far in the review, I love these weapons by themselves, and maybe pegged into another robot, it would be awesome, but I hate them, at least on her helicopter mode, and I'll tell you, I also don't like them in her robot mode, but we'll get to that again in a little bit. So, let's get into the figure itself. The copter mode here, I think, is great. I mean, it's kind of a non-shape helicopter, but if you look at the helicopter on the show, she looks very much like this. The blades spin really well. It doesn't hit on top of anything back here. So you've got nice spinning blades. You can lift up the cockpit here, and you can see that she has a seat and a control panel, complete with where the monitor would be and the controls, and that's very neat. I like that a lot. You have a Decepticon symbol in front, which is very, very teeny Decepticon symbol. So teeny, you can barely see it. Over here on the sides, you have, again, all the paneling and the peg hole for those horrible weapons that don't go with this figure. On the back, you have the tail section of the helicopter. Again, it looks pretty good. I like this quite a bit. On the bottom, you know, kind of looks like a coffin, but it's okay. I don't, you know, it's not full of robot bits on the back. So all in all, I have to say that the Airachnid figure as a helicopter, I think is great. It matches up with the TV show perfectly, and I really have no issue with this at all. Before we transform this, let's talk about the box for a minute, since I've already opened this figure. And in my last review, I did a bit of voice changing to read this, so I'll do the same thing here. Let's see if I can find a voice for the Airachnid box review.
Conditioned to battle and hardship by her years spent hunting rare creatures across the depths of space, Airachnid is a primed and powerful warrior. She has returned to the service of Megatron after her long absence, determined to prove herself as a leader, no matter who she has to destroy to do it.
Okay, my voice is back to normal. So it says Airachnid Decepticon Series Class 1, Figure 12. Decent picture of the robot mode. I think there's some paint here that is not on the final figure. Let's take a look at these parts when we transform her. Silly lobster jet helicopter. The prime figures on the front, you've got a very, very cool animated picture of Airachnid. That is awesome. Like that a lot. Technical specs. Strength 5. Intelligence 9. I think that fits perfectly with this figure. Speed an 8, very fast. Endurance 4. She gets out of breath fairly easily. Rank is a 7. Fairly high up in the ranks until Megatron kicked her to the curb. Courage 6, Fire Blast 5, and Skill a 6. So that is your technical specs. And Triple Blade Sword! We're about to transform Airachnid, and I'll tell you the transformation here is fairly simple. Before I get into that, though, I will say that there's not hardly, in fact, there's, other than the Decepticon symbol, there is no paint on this figure in vehicle mode. No paint whatsoever. There's just not. But that's okay, because again, the character model on the TV show is a black, solid black helicopter. In fact, one of the things that are really different than the on-screen model are these blades, but I see why they had to do it. Let's get into transformation. Pull this off. Just pull it off and don't break it. Toss that to the side. What you're left with is this very nondescript black thing, this black vehicle. And to transform this figure, what you want to do is you want to pull up the cockpit, and you've got a nice little handle here. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. And I do like the detail on the cockpit, by the way. I don't think I talked about that, but on the glass, you know, the faux glass, on the plastic here, I like the kind of webby interface or the webby bits on the glass. It's pretty cool. I like that. But you lift that up, and you take the front nose section, and you flip it in, just like that, and then you collapse it back down again. Come around to the back of the figure. What you're going to do here is you're going to pull these parts up right here. You've got these little things that stick up in the air. You're just going to pull them up and separate them, just like that. You're going to come around here to the bottom. You're going to pull onto the sides here, and that's going to loosen up her arms. Now you have to be careful because the arms are actually on the figure in ball joints, and they come off very easily. So what I recommend is that you flip the arm like that so it comes forward, and then grab this whole back piece right here and just pull it down like a T, and then you can flip it back down again. So here again, flip it, open, move it down, and you have basically two arms right here. On the inside of the arms, you're going to kind of open them up, kind of reminiscent of the Viacon, and then flip out this hand. We'll get into that hand in a little bit. On the other side, you're going to open this up, flip out the hand, and there you have her arms complete. We still don't have a head, so to do that, you want to grab this whole chest piece right here, and you're going to get a reveal by basically pulling the chest down, which will leave the head up here. So let's pull the chest down. Ow! Ow! Make sure your hand's out of the way, and then snap this into place. It will snap, so keep pushing until you hear the snap, like that. All right, nice and snappy. Now onto the feet. You really just need to separate the legs and open up the toes. Nice and tight there. And you're pretty much done. The only thing that's left to do at this point is to take these blades and stick them on her back. Now, to do this, I have a cat meowing in the background. To do this, you want to take the blades and take this long piece, and you'll see that these two are on ball joints. And then you have this one piece right here that's on this swivel joint, and you want to just pull that one out and open it up like that. You've got the peg right here, and you want to stick it on the back of the helicopter, back where you found it. And really, you could leave it on, but it just, when you transform it, it gets everything out of the way, and that's probably for the better. Now, after you've done that, you'll notice on the back here that you've got a slot right there, and you've got a nice plastic peg sticking out right there of the cockpit. Just want to put that in and slot it into place. It keeps it from moving around. All right, now here's where I might change things up a bit differently than how most people transform this figure. I like bringing these two forward. Okay, just bend them. They've got the little joints there. But this top one, I don't like putting it down because that looks ridiculously goofy. So what I like to do is I like to take this piece, and it actually, each one of these pieces swivel both ways. So I like to push this one all the way back as far as it'll go without breaking it. And that's how I like to transform my Airachnid. And that is a completed transformation of Airachnid. Now, this figure is not without its problems, but my controversial opinion here, I like this toy. I think that this toy is actually kind of nice. Now, there are a lot of different flaws going on here, and we'll get into that. In fact, let's get into that right now. The biggest thing is lack of real good articulation. You know, these arms are on a ball joint, as I mentioned, and you can look like you're gonna slap someone in the face. But you know, there's not a lot that you can do with the legs. All these plastic bits on the helicopter. Again, I don't really know what they could have done with it, but you don't get a lot of leg move. I can't lift this knee up in the air. I mean, not without doing some fidgeting and bending of plastic and scratching the plastic. You don't want to do that. So yeah, there's not a lot of leg movement. The arms, you know, I guess the arms move okay. I was just about to complain about them, but there you get movement here. The head, you know, the head sculpt on this figure is actually extremely nice. Very, very nice head sculpt. I mean, that's a beautiful head. I really like that. So no complaints whatsoever about the head. The complaint, obviously, is you have this huge piece behind her, which is the helicopter cockpit, that shouldn't be there. That should have folded down or something to get that out of the way, and they didn't do it. Lazy? I don't know. I don't design toys for a living. I can't say why they decided to leave this there. Cost savings, laziness, I don't know. But it would have been nice to not have that. That being said, I don't think it's a deal breaker here on this toy, especially when you compact these things, flip this guy in the back so that when she's standing up, I think that she looks pretty good. In fact, I think she looks really good. When you have her on your shelf with your other Transformer toys, I don't have any issue with the figure. Oh, except for the hands. The hands on this figure are atrocious. I mean, come on, really? I mean, she looks like she's ready to do the robot dance. Come on, everybody, Mr. Roboto. Yeah, I will never do that again. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, the hands are ridiculous. They could have done a better job with the hands. I mean, give her a fist, give her something. But as is, you have these weapons here that are again, they're decent, but they're not decent for this figure because you can plug them into her hands. But again, the hands open. So look how silly that looks. I mean, it's just silly. What are they, like, magnetized to her? I just, you know, thumbs down on these weapons. I love the way they look, but not for her. So give them to someone else, and they could be a Christmas present for another bot. So again, I would say that, again, the controversial opinion that I have on this figure is I think she's very cool. I think she does belong on your shelf. Oh, and by the way, notice lack of paint here. It's not seemingly uncommon, unfortunately, to have things on the box art that maybe they intended to do, but they cheapened out here, because that would have looked awesome on her. But we didn't get that, so whatever. Now, size comparison for this figure. Here she is next to RC. I think they scale great. I mean, really, I do. I think these two figures look great together. Here she is next to Black Airachnid, who is really one of my all-time great characters as far as, you know, female Transformers. I think she is awesome. And obviously the height, you know, you can see that we've gone down over the years, which is no mystery. But RC, RID RC, and Black, and getting confused on my names, and Airachnid, get it? Air for flight, and Achnid for her spider. Yeah, I think her name is really goofy. But other than her name and this big chunky thing behind her head and the lack of some paint, I don't mind this figure at all. I definitely do recommend this figure. As far as a spider mode, you're not really going to get one here. I suppose that you could point this down. It would have been nice if Airachnid, the arachnid part, the arachnid part, would have been nice if we got one. I guess you could maybe bend her legs and put these things up like hands, and maybe you can kind of get a spider out of her, I guess, sort of. But I'll tell you, if that thing came after me, I would probably just laugh and tell her how silly it looks. Anyway, that's my review. Thank you so much for watching eBEFOREi video reviews. Your support has been amazing. I really, really appreciate it. If you want to help support me even more, you can hit subscribe. It's right up here. Just push that with your clicker thingy, and you'll help me out. So thank you so much. We'll see you again real soon next time.